y'all, welcome back to the farm. A couple people asked me what we did to clear the land to bring in our home site, to kind of underbrush the area for our animals and pastures, how we've cut trails. So I'm just going to kind of take some time today and go through that, and hopefully it will help you get some ideas on what it takes to clear land. Maybe you're looking into buying a piece of property and it is completely overgrown and you don't know what to do with it, because that's the situation we found ourselves in. Luckily for us, we already knew Aaron is a heavy equipment operator, so he can operate track hoes and backhoes and skid steers and all of the things that really make clearing land a whole lot easier. However, it's not essential. You don't have to have those things or that skill to clear your land. So take this little piece of property, for example. This is our, I call it the little pasture area, even though it's not really pasture, it's forest. But this is where our chickens free range, and hopefully, if I ever find any, our goats free range. And when we bought it, it was so dense, you couldn't hardly walk through there. So we have just been little by little underbrushing it, and we did not use any heavy equipment to do that.
So today we are just kind of going through our pasture. It's not really a pasture. It's kind of this little spot that we've got picked out for the goats or whatever goes in here. This is kind of phase one when we bought this place. They actually used to farm most of this area that we're in now, or part of it, and they went through here and they planted a bunch of pines. So there's a bunch of little dinky pines, so we're gonna put our animals and our chickens in here, and you really can't see them from anywhere in the yard, because the pines, you know, little baby pines, they're tall and they're real bushy, and you can't see through the pasture. So this is, like I said, kind of phase one, thinning out all just the small ones to open it up and even really see the area that we're working with, and that way we can see the chickens and make sure there's nothing happening to them. Or we had a bobcat here the other night, so we kind of want to keep an eye on that and make sure he doesn't get in our fence and chase the chickens and just that kind of stuff. So it allows us to be able to walk in here, and it keeps it more, if there was a snake in here we could see it, because man, with all the little pines, it was so dense you couldn't even see through it. So I had already cut a lot around the perimeter, and I wanted to burn that up and get it out of the way. So you can see there's a lot more to cut out, but I wanted to get everything kind of, all the little small stuff cut and burn up and make room for kind of like phase two, because we might rip all of the pine trees out of here. There's some white oaks that are trying to grow. There's some maples in here, some sourwoods and some stuff like that. So I would like to let more of the hardwoods grow and get rid of some of the pines. I like some of the pine trees because in the fall it gives you that contrast of green. So there's always some greenery. So I like pines, but there's just way too many in this pasture, so that's what we're doing today.
You're like far from your group. What are you doing over here? Oh, you want some alone time? I can relate. Hey. I don't have anything for you. We went through with a sawzall and just hacked those down, and now we're working on burning them. Got all our brush piles. Really, the worst part about it, the thing you're going to invest the most in, is your time, because this does take time. Aaron's already been out here for a couple hours just burning this pile down. Another way we've cleared the land is with track hoe. Some of these trees are just so big that we physically could not do that. We knew when we bought this property we were going to have to budget in heavy equipment rentals. We always still know in the back of our mind, if we get a little bit extra cash, we need to rent a track hoe, because we've got this, and that needs to be taken care of. So we've always got a running list of things we want done, and we'll save our money, and when we get a little bit of extra cash, we'll call the rental company, we'll have it delivered, and Aaron can knock it out. Also, you may want to consider looking into companies that do land clearing and getting a quote and a bid from them before you buy your land, because I can tell you those fees add up really quick, and it may not be worth it to you, or it may be worth it to you if you're getting the land cheap enough. to take that into consideration with your price. So Hank, are you a chicken dog?
Hey, leave him alone.
They did? Oh, you can put them in your shirt? Don't crack them. Wow, there's a lot of eggs in there. So one thing that I was really careful and I really wanted to save here on the farm is this burled maple. It's so cool. I call this the baboon tree because it looks like a baboon. So here's his nose, here's like the top of his head and like an eye and like his little chubby cheeks there. But I don't know, it's just so cool. And I actually contacted a company that like takes burled maples and turns them, into furniture and stuff. Because I was told you could get a lot of money for a burled maple tree. And this one, because it's too knotted, it really isn't worth anything. So it's not worth cutting it down. And I'm really glad it's not because it has so much character to it. I just think it's really cool. And who knows how long it's been here and what it's seen and been through. And man, sometimes the stories these trees could tell. It's like that saying, if walls could talk. I always think if trees could talk, what would they tell us? What have they seen? Who's walked past them? I don't know. It's just really cool. Such a cool tree. So look for things like that on your property. Take the time to go that extra step because it's things like that that add a lot of character to where you're living. And yeah, that tree's going to be here as long as I'm here. It's never going anywhere. Aaron likes using the Sawzall on those little trees. You can get it right where the tree meets the dirt, so that way you don't have stumps sticking up. If you try to do that with a chainsaw, it'll gunk up your blade. So just a little tip. A chicken's looking at you, Aaron. Look at that. Is that good soup? It's coffee time. Looks great. If I keep him fed and his cup full of coffee, keeps him working. I don't do a lot of I'm capable. I just don't know how to work a chainsaw or equipment and stuff like that. And I'm definitely not as strong as he is. But I find if I can keep him fed, keep the coffee going, make a pretty good team. So I know sometimes especially for me, I got really caught up this year in what we didn't get done. We didn't get as far with animals as I had hoped we were. I hope by now we would have had goats. We definitely didn't get as far as I wanted to with the farm and the business and everything that entailed. But I don't know, just today it all kind of just hit me. I was making lunch and I grabbed a jar of chicken broth from our chickens. I grabbed a jar of spaghetti sauce from tomatoes and herbs and different things that came off the farm that I had canned. And I noticed that all of those little by little things that I had done that didn't seem like a lot at the time all finally came together, and I had a meal thrown together with the majority of the ingredients that came from the property. So just be encouraged that even if you don't feel like you're making a lot of progress, it's a lot of little things and you don't see it all adding up. One day you're going to stand back and realize and see that it did add up. One day you're going to look over that property that at one point was extremely overgrown and to the point where you couldn't even walk through it, and now you're able to just completely walk a path, or you're building your house, or you're pulling your house in, or you're making that meal with ingredients that you had put up little by little. So be encouraged that those little by little things are going to add up, and before you know it, you're going to be where you want to be. I definitely have so many goals and dreams for the property and the farm and the business and the YouTube channel that I tend to get caught up in where I want to be, because I am the type of person that when I do something, I want to do it all the way. I didn't just go to nursing school. I got my bachelor's degree, and then I got my critical care certification, and I took this class and that class and was on this committee and that committee, because when I do something, I go all in. And homesteading and farming, growing our own food, I have that same mindset. I want to be all in at every moment, and it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it is a very slow process. Sometimes you have trees to clear. Sometimes you have fences to put up and barns to build before you can go all the way. So I want to encourage you to take those moments, those in-between moments, and enjoy them. Enjoy the journey and the process you're on, because before you know it, and I keep reminding myself this, I'm gonna have to wake up at the crack of dawn to milk my goats and do any other thing that needs to be done first thing in the morning, and I'm gonna want to look back on these days of rest and be able to do that. But yeah, be encouraged in those little by little moments, because those little moments are what adds up quick. Here's some footage of some of the before and after, before we had this channel and when we were just getting started. One thing I didn't mention is that we did pay for a good portion of the land clearing and the excavating that needed to be done. We have a really good friend who does that for a living, and being that we weren't familiar with codes and terrain, and this was a huge undertaking, we went ahead and budgeted in to pay him to clear the home site. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the before and afters of our property. I wish so much I could go back and do some of that all over again. I would have started this sooner and taken you all from day one, but I'm glad we have what we have. Thank you for following along, and we'll see you on the next video.